So a couple observations and a few things that I've learned. Yesterday, most of you were here yesterday. I was expecting 30 people yesterday. We had 70, so that was fantastic. We did a pretty deep dive. We didn't really know what to call it. We didn't know what we were doing. We just knew that we had a problem that our supporters and users of our product weren't really up to speed with everything that we had been working on or delivering, and so we called it a user summit. I've rebranded that. That was really an immersion, right? We sunk you into the tech that is there, right? Like we weren't just going into the future stuff, right? The innovation stuff. We sunk into what is there. And I think we were really fortunate to have some of the people we had in the room, like Terry, who built a PMS and knows some of the challenges, and Warren Lieberman from Veritech, who has for years struggled with the PMSs to build a product. And that's how Tenet was born, in that we couldn't build the products we wanted to build. So we said, we finally pulled the Band-Aid off, and we said, we're just going to build the whole product. And, you know, it's funny, when we get started in the deal, Brian Castor goes, you know, it's gonna cost you $20 million to do this. It's gonna take 3 years. Like, it's impossible, right?
25
Yeah,
million.
20. Well, so, you know, people think I get enjoyment out of proving people wrong. Well, Brian, I proved you wrong. It's like 40 million. Okay, so you won on that one, and it's a big, and more than 3 years, right? But we're commercially viable right now, and in many ways, we are outperforming the products that you're using today in areas that actually make you more money. And we're continuing to knock the edges off. But you need to come along the journey with us sooner than later. Don't be laggards, because this company is critical for us as operators to being strong, being a premier product or the premier product, or you're going to end up with one service provider. And that's not going to be good for any of us. I'm going to bounce around a little bit on things, but I want you guys from an innovation perspective to look left and look right and see what you can learn. And I'm going to say left. We're working with one of the biggest Australian firms right now on a project, and hopefully we'll be announcing that soon. But what we learned is the Australian market, it's about the size of California. It's hyper competitive, and the level of professionalism there in that industry and other businesses is really next level. Like those companies have legitimate internal IT development departments to run their business. They are invested in tech. They have engineers on site daily building things. They are far beyond the American market. You could take the REITs out of it, you could count storage companies on one hand in America that have engineers on staff. That's pretty crazy. You think about, 50,000 facilities out there, right? Australia, that's not the case. Then I want you to look right and go, what can I learn over there? Well, imagine a company that was born on an island that we've never seen or knew about, that didn't have any communication with the outside world, that built one of the 3 largest private portfolios in the world and has another 4 million feet under construction, I think, right now. Right? Imagine that company has an average lifetime stay of their customer of 7 years. That's triple all of you, right? How'd that happen? How is that possible? How did they develop this gigantic portfolio, developing sites right now that are 50 acres, that are immaculate, completely vertically integrated in their whole process. That's called Daryl's. They're right over here. How did they do that? Right? Does what they do, can everybody in here do? No. But is there things to learn? Like, how do you get to a 7-year average stay? And is that the right decision? It's pretty amazing. Look at what Australia is doing. We're seeing, I was supposed to do a rap written by Chat this morning. We're seeing Chat, Good Time Party, GTP, right? That's not what it stands for, but that's how I remember it. So we're seeing that, but you guys cannot turn your news on right now, right? We have PhDs in our companies that may be writing papers with it right now. So believe me, the world hasn't figured out how to bust this, and I think it has gigantic value, but it's not a chat bot, right? That's not what it is. It is your email. It is your text messaging. It is your phone. It is your chat bot. It will unify communications in an amazing way and help us convert customers, manage customers, increase the experience with customers. That's for sure real. The temptation in here, I think, for me and probably a lot of people is, wow, I've always wanted a lot of content to create domain authority. I can write an incredible blog every single day for every single store with this thing. I could have one staff member doing this, and I could be presenting to search that I am very powerful, very relevant, very current, and that may be an unbelievable advantage. My concern is, and man, I want to do this, but Google and Microsoft are at holy war over this, right? It is a threat to Google, a legitimate threat to Google. If you have two companies at war over this technology and Google determines how to figure out what content is created with this, the consequences that they may put in to us on our domains could be really substantial, right? Everybody knows about those, Brian, you've disappeared on the web. We had 300 stores disappear on the web, right? And sometimes they're glitches, or they're running an algorithm, or they're doing something. And we've been able to rectify those problems, but there's times when you can't because you did get caught speeding. And Brian didn't get caught speeding. It was, or neither did we. But when that happens, your phone calls stop instantly. You disappear. Forget about SEO. Everybody says SEO is dead. SEO is kind of dead. But local is everything. You want your phone to die overnight? And so if you were advising your college kid, and they said, hey, Dad or Mom, I know I can get an A in this class. I can use this thing to write all my papers. What would you tell them? You'd probably be like, yeah. You probably wouldn't advise them to do that, would you? At least I don't think most parents would. Are they learning the process, right? Is it part of the experience, part of growing, part of getting better? Yeah. So you're saying don't cheat. Think about that from the content perspective within your companies as agencies or people bring it to you, because we don't know what to do with it yet. I know on the communication side it's gold. I think on the content side, be very careful, because we have no idea what the consequences may be. The desire is like unbelievable. Now there are things you can do with it that, like AJ's doing, where you can feed in your own content, previous content, and repackage it, and it is original content at that point because it's yours. There may be some tool there, but be very careful about. the MIT professors haven't figured it out yet. I don't think Google's got it down yet. They're trying. AJ was telling me this morning that, AJ is saying currently, is AJ in the room? Put your hand up. Yeah. He's saying that some of the social media companies have already figured it out. They've cracked it, and then they're taking those people that are using that content to be relevant, and they're pushing them down. Is that accurate, AJ? So. Yeah, there's going to be a counter. My problem with my business personally, forget about this room, is the risk of dropping off of local search is pretty scary, because it's where all our customers are coming in from, or darn near most of them. Yeah. But on the communication side, game on, right? Absolute game on, and that's going to get so good so fast. You can see that we can write songs like that and write whole speeches like that, and we didn't have to tell you.
Ghostwriter and using ChatGPT is.
What's the difference? At what point, when you change it around a little bit yourself, is it yours? I don't know. These are all these questions we don't know. So this has been a phenomenal week for me personally. Right? I don't usually talk about personal things because, we're here to represent you as our investors and our company. But our team is better than me now. So that's like feeling like you've arrived when 90 pounds of terror here can practically run the whole company, right? It's amazing. Right? This guy is a savage right here. And I mean that in that he's in an environment where most people don't want to work that hard, or they want to work remotely, or they're half in. This guy is 1,000% in, and has been from day one. And we have a whole company like that. It's amazing. And I'm able to come to events and see products and results of things that I kind of know are going on a little bit sometimes, and I see it. I'm like, damn, that's good. So personally, I've kind of gone to next level, and I'm very proud of the team for that. I want to make sure that we change this up a little bit, because a lot of you saw a lot of these things yesterday. And what we did is we started at a baseline yesterday, and we showed things that have taken 10 years to build, 6 years to build, 3 years to built last week, and we brought it all to life. And we showed you how we built the foundation up. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to kind of go pretty quickly to the other side, and then I'm going to drill back down, and I'm going to do that briefly. Something that happened yesterday that I know I mentioned, but I want to reiterate it. We did 3.5 hours of tech in live environments, development environments, testing environments, and we covered, you guys were there, we covered 100 things. Only one thing broke that was in a test environment, in a live demo. Like, I told you early on, I'm like, we're going to break shit today, right? That was pretty amazing. So I am going to try and break something, because I'm going to bring a piece of tech up here that I've never even seen. I'm going to bring a piece of tech up here to show us something that was completely built on the back of our infrastructure, that we turned them loose, and they have come up with a remote management tool that has some pretty interesting components to it. We were supposed to have the front end and the back end here, and the ice storms in Texas screwed that up, so that thing is on a truck somewhere, but We were literally going to have that guy sitting right here, and apologies for that. We couldn't do that. So what Adam is going to show you is really the backside, which probably is more of the deep end of the pool anyway. How would you interact with a customer remotely with these new tools? And he's going to give us a demo. I'm going to be flying blind in that thing, and we'll see how that goes. So to start off, you're in one of those custom reports here, but Sneha, what I think I would like to do, and this is a live store. This is live data. We're going to make changes to a live store here, and it'll be affecting what's happening. We talked about this yesterday. If your infrastructure isn't in the cloud, you don't have a chance, really. You need this functionality. If you're going to be remote, you have to be in the cloud. This is all cloud, so we're doing this here from Newport Beach, and we're controlling stuff that is in this case, in Arizona. So before we go here, Sneha, can we see the website for this particular store? Okay, this is we call these FLPs, facility landing pages. This is our oldest FLP that we have, and it is not as powerful as the new FLPs, and the reason being is this FLP had to play to many. It had to work with storage and SSM and whomever that we participated with. The new FLPs don't have to do that. They finally have been unchained and unbridled to all of the information about our facility. One of the things that before we leave this site was a requirement. Another big proud moment is it's been a 10-year mission of mine to sell Brian Castor. Literally, that's a true story. And Brian has come on, but he said, I'm not coming on. And I know when Brian says, I'm not coming on unless this happens. No, I need to make it happen. He said, I need facilities near me. And this is what we did. We had already been studying this before we got the ultimatum, so we weren't flat-footed, but we looked at everything that everybody was doing in the industry and said we could do better. And this is what we produced. And we did this in, a month, Brian? Something like that. And what this shows up, this by the way, I'm gonna go back to remote management. There are two operators to me that this is really powerful for. A hub and spoke model, which is very much a remote management. You have a manager here and you've got 4 satellite facilities. Or you have a scenario like an A1 where you have a town carpet bombed, right? So San Diego, you can pretty much ride your scooter between stores, right? So you want this information. So what we've done here is we've given the facilities near the store they're on. I think it's a 10-mile radius, right? But as opposed to just sort of links to those stores, we've actually brought the information in for buying decisions, right? We've brought in facility pricing. We've brought in ratings, right? We have brought in sizes that they have available. There'll be a filter component to that shortly, but we've also put it into a map view. So you can look in and quickly see where the facilities are located, see the price of the lowest cost space in the inventory. You click on it, you're immediately off to that facility. So that's a new product that is just launched as of, I guess, next week or this week. It's live. Yeah, this is live. This is actually up, and this will also be on the newer facility landing pages very, very quickly. But Sneha, let's change. This is something you've never been able to do. If you wanted to change your website, it was kind of a war with your agency, and it was slow, and it was difficult, and it didn't really give you the A/B testing capabilities that everybody always talks about. And that A/B testing is one of those things you hear about. Does it really mean anything? Yes, it does. And not only does A/B testing mean something, but you surprisingly don't have to have 2,000 stores to find out if certain things work better. Because so many of our rentals are online now, you get feedback really quickly. And in turning this live, we've also recognized immediately that it's device specific, which I'm sure the REITs and all this, probably the bigger companies know this, but we're getting ready to throw switches to not only be able to make these changes, but make them device specific and make the changes between what I call the selection page. So this is a select, I'm selecting into a space, or the funnel page when we start showing you how that pricing works again, right? Being able to switch those up. So now think of all those combinations you have between 6 different facility landing pages and 2 different funnel systems and being able to bounce them all around and do that completely differently on all of your stores as well as device specific. What shows up on a screen at your store? What shows up on a mobile device? What shows up on a desktop? We hardly even play with the desktop anymore because only about 20% of your business is happening there now, but we're still paying attention to it. So Sneha, what could we do here to change this? So what Sneha just did is she went into what we call settings, but it's truly a CMS system. It's the only one in the industry that completely controls everything about your business. You have all of your web, all of your Hummingbird settings, every aspect. It's a single pane of glass to make changes in the cloud from your corporate office or remotely. Imagine that. We still want to do that, right? And so Sneha, what are you going to change this to?
Listing.
Whatever you want. Okay. She just changed her website. And what happened on mobile, Karan? Karan's running mobile at the same time? It changed the view there as well. Right? And you can keep doing that and doing that. Now, she just changed 2 components. Imagine being able to change them independently of selection and funnel pages. Because certain funnel pages play better on a 3.5-inch screen than this. You have a lot of real estate here. I mean, you can easily get sold by people here. People, this is what they show you when people are saying, "Oh, we'll build you these cool things." Like, if you're ever getting that sales pitch in the future, say, shut that off. I only want to see this on mobile, because if it's not passing, your opinion on mobile, you're just wasting your time, because there's 20% of your business there. So Sneha, what happens now if we select a 5x5, for instance? So you do have value pricing on this particular site. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What if I wanted to change the order of the features and amenities only to the web? So right now we're looking at basement floor, and if we look at it over here, this is the real test, guys, because when somebody comes in, Karan, go back on this one. Go ahead and come down and let's look at this, right? So look at how much space you have to trigger a buying decision with a customer on a mobile device. We've done a pretty good job organizing this, but you have a very small amount of space to get a customer's attention. How do you put your best foot forward in that space at that particular time, in that particular market, with the particular conditions that are happening in the market? And how do you do that programmatically and dynamically? Not the smoke and mirrors that we've all been doing for the last, 10, 15 years that we've been playing in this space. That's what we're doing now. We're able to change that, and then we're able to increase that list even on a mobile device as you go through the funnel. But Sneha, go ahead and reorder those, just in any way you want, but reverse them.
I think it would be better to see that in the grid view.
Okay.
Because it'll be one after the other.
All right, then she's gonna change to a different view. Okay, so this is what we call a card view. It's a different look. You still have your features and amenities ordered, or even on the previous page. Now, how would you change those, Sneha? And why would you change them? Because what's the purpose of ordering them? And in this particular case, this is sort of half set up. You'll have 15 or 20 features and amenities for your store. You can't display all those. So you want to display the critical ones based on your real estate experience, right, within your market. I mean, maybe speaking Spanish in a particular store is massively important. You want that up there. Maybe you're in a really wet market, you have covered loading, right? You're going to want that up there. But this is how difficult it is to make those changes. You just drag these as a real estate professional around, and they will reorganize across your site. There's also another little switch here. Just for the heck of it, Sneha, throw a smartphone access on as a filter. You see this here? You have control over your filters as well. So back to the professionalism of real estate owner, hopefully you know in your marketplace what people are looking for, and you can control that right in your filter. And then let's take it live. Smart access. They're all completely reordered, right? Let's see the filter. Smart access, right? That's all done remotely. You do that from corporate. You have somebody at your company who really understands your customers and the importance of digital marketing. Let them manage that. It's a key part of remote management. Now, Sneha, what if we wanted to go into a value pricing model here? What could we do there? From the Hummingbird side. So what is this? 79, 89, 94, 80, right? On these prices. Gold, sapphire, diamond. What sort of controls do we have as customers?
So you have the ability to change the name of it. I mean, if you don't like gold, sapphire, diamond and want to call it something else.
Right.
And you also have the ability to change the tiers, like how it appears. How much more would you like your sapphire to show? How much more would you like your diamond to show? You have those controls in here.
So let's go old school. Let's go good, better, best, right? That was the OG in that world. And just temporarily, let's bounce that one 20% and the next one 30%. If you get a rental right now, Travis, it's on. You owe me something, yeah. Okay, let's refresh that page. Now that will have just changed your pricing algorithm. And we talked about this yesterday. We talk about a set rate, and we talk about a sell rate, and we talk about an offer rate. So we have some different terminology. Set is you go in and buy a facility or build a facility. You start off on a pricing model. We all do that. That's our professional knowledge of the industry. Then the rate management will push that set rate up or down based on variances. The offer will move the sell rate up or down based on the parameters you want. So now we have just raised those prices even more, and we have changed the features and amenities to what we think they are as of this second, right? To be best in class. Now, the next step on this, the future of this, which is in the works, is being able to vary the amenities, right? How do you take an amenity and move it up or down? Or how do you score a space based on how you've put all of your features and amenities into place to score your spaces programmatically? Or how do we have external impacts on features and amenities? If you have climate controlled and like my Reno store where you can drive through the whole building, which is pretty cool when it's snowing out, that's a pretty powerful feature and amenity when it's a freaking week-long snowstorm. How does that float up to the top? Those are the things that we can now do. This is truly dynamic. The REITs can't do this, right? The one feature and amenity with one REIT is programmatic, and that's life, and it's a distance. Everything else is still sort of this middle layer like we've been doing it for years.
And just really quick, Les, if you're not Hummingbird and you're integrating with the tenant website product, do you have any of this functionality?
No. You have the same smoke and mirrors functionality we've had, which you have with your other agencies, right? Having to pull that middle layer because the layers that we had to build to be able to feed this information up are huge foundationals. You saw how we the first thing, we have to get every feature and amenity to every space in the system. We do that, and we do it pretty fast, right? Then you have to order it. And it's not just this, right? Once you have that, it's your reports, it's your rate management, it's your rent management, it's your web. You get to power all of that with that data. It's very powerful. It's very dynamic. We turned this live on a store about a month ago. Sneha, let's go into the back end of Reno. Okay, so this is a custom look at the data. This is what Terry was talking about. I made this report at 6 a.m. yesterday while I was feeding my dogs. True story. I'm like, what am I going to show? I created this report and called it Lance Value Price Look, right? And then I made it available to everybody. So everybody in the company can access this report, or it can just be mine. Or I can send this report if I wanted to. I probably wouldn't. But you can see as people are renting online, and this is a Noki site as well. So not only are they renting these spaces completely autonomously, they're getting their access control and their move-in credentials and gate credentials and app downloads, everything as a part of the flow. But what's super interesting is, and let's go back to that girl we looked at yesterday, Beverly Parrish, right? We go to our profile page, and we've now exposed this information into the profile, and so you can see that. Scroll up just a little bit. So on January 7th, she moved in. She went in at the deluxe, good, better, best, whatever you want to call it, right? She went in on the deluxe space. The offer rate was 202. The sell rate was 182. The set rate was 171. That's a 18.63% variance on that move-in. Sight unseen, completely programmatically, $31 more. Our average length of stay here is about 20 months. That's $600 of predictive value in that rental through having tools like that. Now, we've all heard from the storage marts and the Warren Liebermans that if you give the customer the opportunity to pay you more, about 40% of them will. That's true, right? We're seeing the exact same numbers as what we've been told. What we think we're able to do is step up the variance in the way that we're presenting it. And we've got a lot more coming in this space. So I'm gonna go in, just answer some questions, and then what I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna ask one of our customers to come up, and Adam is going to show us the back end of something that he built on top of our tech that is a remote management tool. And blur your eyes out, right? Because there's a lot of iterations of what you can do with an open application like this. Adam's obviously hired some smart engineers, because many times we open up this development portal to that. Do you have the dev portal open, Snehal?
No, I don't.
That's okay. So the dev portal is something that is what Nectar, right? We handed that off to Adam, and for the most part, he disappeared and came back with a product. And that's pretty spectacular, because the product he came back with, he's going to tell you about, it's got a lot of capacity and a lot of strength. That's what we have envisioned from the beginning. It's a network effect. If we can build a best-in-class platform and make it open and expose our data to the right customers and have control over that, right? You control that in very great detail. If you want to give access to Adam, it's very specific, because you don't need to give your full set of data to maybe an access control company, or a collection agency, or an auction company. Maybe a rev man to Warren, you're probably going to give him everything, right? You're going to let those smart guys look at every piece of data you have. But you have control over that in this system. So this is our developer portal. This is the only one in the storage industry, and all of the companies that have utilized us that also serve multifamily and residential and other commercial real estate, they've all come into this and said this is best in class in real estate.
You said that Noki is integrated with your product?
Noki's, yeah, that was one of our first access integrations.
Is your remote system going to replace Noki, and you're essentially going to sunset Noki, or you
No.
have that integration?
No, we're not in the hardware business on the doors. We're hoping competition comes in there, right? The presenters probably don't want to hear that, but we think it's good for the market. Let's have some competitive people in there to push each other, right? Otherwise, there's no innovation. Yeah. And that's kind of the core philosophy behind what we built here. We're trying to build an innovative platform that will drive innovation, and hopefully ultimately lower our cost of operating or make us more money. That's the way we look at our stuff. Make you more money or lower your costs. And if we're not doing those two things, then we'll go back to our charity business, right?
Just to add to that, the whole point of the network effect is there's no way that we can think of all the smart things that can be done with data.
No.
We want to enable all the other smart people out there to be able to take that data, though, and then add additional value add and bring it back in. It's no different than, Lance mentioned yesterday Toast POS, which is coming to completely displaced NCR and IBM in the point of sale for restaurants. They integrate directly into Uber Eats. They integrate directly into Uber Eats and DoorDash and all that. Let DoorDash and Uber Eats do everything that they do, right? But it just becomes a seamless experience for your customers.
So, Karan, how did Adam participate in the development portal? And then let's hear from Adam, and he can show us some of the functionality that he's been able to pull from that.
So we have around in our system close to 700 APIs or endpoints that are available. We have exposed more than 50% of those over here. So it basically gives you control over your operations, over your data. You can just integrate with these APIs. And again, it's very secure. We'll give you certain credentials. Only with those credentials you can access it. And once you have it, based on your permissions and everything, you can do certain things. Like for example, if you integrate with our communication app, you can use that to send messages or do communication. If you integrate with, like yesterday I was showing that if you integrate with the accounting portion of Hummingbird, you can pull the accounting data directly from Hummingbird over there. Just like that, we have like leases endpoints, spaces endpoints. Like you can just use those to pull the data and use that data in whichever way you want, and push data as well and change it. Like if you want to change it, like you notice something on your space, you want to mark your space status to offline or something, you can do that. Like if you have the right access and to the developer portal. So basically.
Awesome. So, Adam, you willing to come in here and break something? So,
Is it a Mac?
It's of course it's
Here.
a Mac. Nice little Mac.
this is live too.
Okay, perfect. Is that one? Okay. Oh, it's the same as my other one in Office. Thank you. All right. So because of the, I know Lance has pointed this out a ton, is the APIs, the open APIs that Tenet has offered us. Here, I'm a short guy. Let me see. Did it ask? Oh, okay. Can you? Let me see if I can mirror this so I can see it here real quick. You know how to do it real fast? Go ahead. I'll let you faster than me. Should be display on the top right.
No, click on this.
Right there.
Yeah, click on that. Screen mirroring. Click on screen mirroring.
You can see my wife's
Display
hand.
settings. Yeah. Open display settings. Extended display. Click on extended display. Mirror.
There we
Yes,
go.
sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'm not sure, Lance, if this gives
I'm sorry.
more credibility to you,
Perfect.
Brian, or both of you. But I just want to give some context as to everything. All right. Usually my voice is pretty good, but I just want to give some context to what Lance just went through on the value pricing. All right. In 2012, dynamic value pricing, the good, better, best, doesn't exist anywhere in the industry. Okay? It is just the only connection to that was the static, take the units near the elevator, put them up at a higher price.
It's better than that. Small, medium, large didn't exist.
Okay? Now, 2012, we're working with StorageMart. We propose this concept to them. They're intrigued, but it sounds a little goofy. But they're willing to try it. But they're willing to try it at about 30 of their stores. They had about 120 at that time because they don't think their store managers can handle it. Okay? They put it in place for a month. And Chris Burnham, president of StorageMart, calls a meeting and says to everybody, stop all the priorities. This stuff is making us so much money, and it is easily implementable that they highly prioritize getting it out across the entire portfolio, and they do it. This is why they like us a lot. Okay. Okay. They're making a ton of money. Now think about this. So in 2013, 2014, this dynamic value pricing is getting implemented, but it's only being implemented at the stores. Mm-hmm. It's not on websites right now. It's not at the call centers. It's only at the store where they're doing this. And I want to connect this because earlier today you heard about remote management, right? So fast forward now, 2014 to 2015, it's getting a few more companies are beginning to use it. Start of COVID, contactless rentals becomes really important. And all of a sudden, companies now start pushing to put this on their websites, and also a few companies are doing it at their call centers. By the way, at the call center, the upgrade is like 60%, because you got somebody who's now talking about the benefits, not just you seeing it. And so I want you to kind of think about this.
within 10 years, you've taken something that arguably that didn't exist, and now companies are earning as much as 8, 9, 10% new revenue, incremental revenue from this. And now you're seeing what Lance is showing you about the ability to do real-time experiments, figure out whether you want to put good, better, best, left to right, right to left, what's in the middle. I mean, this is now in the power not just of the largest operators, but it's beginning to get to be everybody. I just want to put that in context, because this is an innovation summit and you're hearing about stuff that is remarkably innovative and is changing the industry, and you're part of it right now. And I just want to show this because Hummingbird has taken an enormous step forward in what it is allowing and going to allow you to do. And I apologize for taking too much time, but I kind of wanted to just stop there because it's so important.
Next. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, Mr. Wagner.
This thing right here is so our company is called RCM. So Remote Concierge Manager is my partner and I started this selfishly just for ourselves to manage our properties remote. We couldn't figure out or see any solutions out there that we liked. And so we decided to start our own, and we developed it for our Superior Storage brand, and then leveraged the APIs within Tenant in order to extract data out of the PMS with Hummingbird, and so we created our own. And so this is the one that Lance poked me in the eye with and said it was stuck on a semi truck. Right now, currently, Lance, it's in Tucson, Arizona, headed this direction, but with the ice storms in the Texas, we don't handle well with ice in Texas. It's miserable. So what we're going to do is I'm going to fly through a demo. This is what it looks like to the customer side of things. So you walk into one of our facilities, and you're going to actually see our live agent. That's right there's Kelly, and she's in our Longview corporate office. And then the bald guy down there is me. So the customer can actually see exactly what they're actually seeing. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to log in. So this is the agent portal that we're logging into up here. So you know it's an agent portal, a dashboard. I can see all of my team members. I can see everybody who is online in my in Superior Storage. And so if I wanted to go like, let me see, Eric down here, he'll be right back. So I'm assuming he's probably out to lunch because in Texas it's almost 1 o'clock. If I wanted to go offline, I could go back here and just turn myself and say, well, I'll be back in 5 minutes because I'm going to go to the bathroom. And so now the system knows not to route any calls to me. And if I was going to be back a little early, I just click myself right back to online, and the entire team will know right away that I'm online. All of these, anytime we switch anything in here, because I know we all love our data and analytics, all of this is being recorded in the backside for a customer admin level. And so us as owners or the managers, whoever you put as a customer admin, can actually go back in and see when did Eric go offline or be right back, and how long was he gone, and is it always right around Judge Judy time? Is he gone? We love our reports because we run everything by data. So we're going to come back over here real quick to join a call. I'm just going to do a VoIP call. So ours is a communication platform. So it's VoIP phones as well as video platforms. So if you don't have both of those in conjunction, the system won't know whether to route a call to you or not. If we're on a phone call and then somebody walks into your office, the system has to know if you're on that phone call to route it to the next available person. We can assign primary agents. So currently I assign myself to this as the primary agent. So the system first is going to look to me to see is Adam online for this call, and then it'll route to our secondary agent, and then anybody else, if those first two are busy, anybody else that's on, let me see here, if anybody else that is online at the time. Let's see if I can, okay, there we go. We're on the right one. So I'm going to call this for my cell phone. And so right now it's giving me the caller ID information. And that's just pulling in just basically like a normal. So I'm going to join this real quick. Let me mute this so we don't get crazy feedback. There we go. So what it did right now is it just went out and grabbed all of my tenant data from Hummingbird tenant, whoever you want to call it. And so I can see all of my lease details. I can see when my last rent, when am I paid through. Of course, I don't have any active ones right now, but it gives me the unit number. There is some cleanup stuff that we're doing on this right now, so we're going to modify some of this. It'll be done within the next 5 days, but like that rent, we're going to go ahead and put that in dollar decimals so we can actually see it. It presents a little better. And then these lease details, we'll convert all of that information to actual locations. But this system already knows the locations we're in. If you scroll down here to the bottom, it tells me that it's at my Longview, Texas location. So when an agent answers a phone call, they can quickly look over and say, hey, Mr. Wagner, how are you today? And, you know, everybody has these. So I'm in unit. Oh, yes, sir, we know you're in unit 2120, and how can we help you today? Then we'll click straight over here to the Hummingbird, and dun, 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 the internet. So there you go. So now I can go straight into the tenant information for that property. So let's end that one. If let me text our team over there and tell them to trigger motion for us. And so now we're just basically sitting here playing Sudoku or something like that, answering phone calls, and then we're going to wait. So we have somebody in our office over in there it is. Okay, so there. This is what a motion call looks like, and we'll just join that same motion call. And then it's going to launch in my browser. And essentially, let me see, it should be Andrew. What's up, Andrew?
I'd like to buy a storage unit, please.
Really? So we would like to, charge you about $1,000 a month. Is that okay? We can use the company card.
I'd like to pay $2,000 if possible.
That's perfect. So we'll take that out of Chris's part of the money, not mine. Is that fine with you?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Is that camera following him around?
Absolutely. So what our cameras do is we use a camera that has a 180-degree pan. It's actually got 3 cameras inside of it. So if Andrew decides to get up from his desk and move around, you are using our bar, right? Yeah. Okay. So if he would get up and walk around and move, that camera would actually follow him within that 180-degree point of view. Actually, all of our microphones inside of that camera bar actually do the same thing. They follow the sound waves. So if he's moving over here and so he talks like this isn't picking me up right now, but what our camera does is actually turn that microphone to the person, and so it keeps talking. Now, they don't see any of this. It all happens behind all of the covers, but everybody knows that people pace when they talk, and so that camera will actually do the same thing with the sound waves. Hey, I'm so glad that I could rent to you, but I'm going to leave you now. So, Deuces, go back to your lunch. Bye. Yeah, absolutely. So you guys all saw that little picture that came in, right? And so right now we're working and waiting for some things from tenant, but what we're going to do is match that facial to that tenant that took his picture selfie whenever they rented. And then it'll give us a score inside of RCM here. Hey, this is, 90% Andrew. Maybe he shaved his head and went bald like me, which not many people can pull it off as good as I do. But he can do that. Let me see. Here's the other locations that we can see down here. So let me see. We got the conference calling. Some of the cool things that we're doing with this is, again, at the end of this sprint, which ends in 7 days, the end of the week, is we'll be able to actually conference in an off-site manager. So if maybe they needed me to come in and step in and help, they could conference me in on either video or VoIP calling. We can also transfer this to a tenant. So for us, like here's our Port Neches office, which nobody is at. So this is let me see if it's live. Let me push play here. So that's actually a live shot of our Port Neches office with the tenant TIs. Somebody walks in there and they want to go see one of our storage units. We can actually just text them a link to continue the same video call on their smart device. And because we do integrate with Nokia at all of our properties, we'll open all of the doors for them. They'll go to their unit. We'll remote open the unit for them. and then walk them around the property. And of course, we know where they're at all times on the property because we're on a video call or voice call. To this door right here. So that's the office door. So if you guys will bear with me, we go through Noki. Tell all my secrets today. So Noki has this portal, which they alluded to earlier. Let's see if it remembers all of my information. Of course, it doesn't. Let's see if I remember it. Oh, good, I do. Switch. There we go. So let's see if they're actually working today. They are. Okay, so here's like remote access to these doors. So if I just click that button right there, let's see if it updated. Oh, there it goes. So now that office door is closed. So no different than when your managers come on site, if you have on-site managers, and they have to go unlock all your doors. So we just do everything, but we just do it with technology and do it remotely. If you want to see somebody, like if we wanted to get on these TIs right here, we just use back-end systems to all of these TIs. We launch it. And so if Andrew was in our Port Neches office and I was face-to-face with them, we just launched these TIs. There you go. And let's see if it pulls it back up. Give it a second to update. Their internet here is not fast. So it would normally show right there because I'm on that computer right there. And I can actually help that person rent the unit. I can control their screen for them. We can select the unit if we want. And there we go. Now we can either help them rent this completely or they can do everything on their own. So anything, and I challenge anybody to give me a hard situation, anything that an on-site manager can do, I can do it 100% remotely through technology, which, again, we've heard it helps lower our cost. We're going to pay a higher rate to a more skilled manager than having a cheaper manager. I was trying to filter and be PC, but because I'm not usually that way. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I need to go unlock that, or they're going to get mad. Yeah. So it's let me see. Hold open. There we go. So, yeah, there it is. Okay, there it is. So now that office door is back unlocked. And so we're open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And that's kind of when our call center is open, or our Longview office. And so when they walk in, they actually manually just unlock and lock the doors that their primary or secondary agents on. On the back end of this, as managers, we can log out of this, and then let me log into my admin side. So this would be like what you guys would be, unless you want to be an agent too and just sit and take calls all day, which is riveting. So we can see all of our agents. If I wanted to quick add an agent for Superior Storage brand, I could add. Yes, sir.
If I'm an agent, can I respond mobile? Like
Absolutely.
if I'm at the bank or something? Or
Yeah, absolutely. So if we had a way to show this, you're going to just log in to the same RCM website, and I can do all the same functionality. Let me see. I'll just do it off of here, and then I'll call. It memorizes my face on here, so it's much easier. Allow. Let me see. Chris, I'm going to call you. Voice call. And so basically the same thing, the same deal that you guys saw just a few seconds ago, 0767. I can do the same thing, and then now I'm calling, and we do mask. I know somebody asked the other day about masking phone numbers. No matter which, I can hear myself. That's weird. No matter which location you're calling from, if you're calling from our Longview location, Tyler's location, Port Neches, anytime you click in there to launch a call, it actually masks the phone number to your customer-facing number. So whatever the number is on the side of your building or on your website, whatever number you want the customers to see on every call, we mask it with that number. Obviously, on the back end, we have, like everybody does, we have, pseudo Twilio numbers and stuff like that we're doing all sorts of weird routing and call forwarding to. But that way, the customer doesn't randomly pick up some weird cell phone number or send us to voicemail because they think we're spam and we're just trying to collect money. Now I'm going to take myself off of primary agent. Primary agent, and we're going to put, is it Kelly? Yeah, we'll put Kelly back to primary agent. And the last cool little thing is whenever somebody walks into any of our locations and they trigger motion, right? It usually will just sit there with your logo of your company on there. When it triggers motion.
Hi, welcome to Superior Storage. Your remote concierge manager will be with you shortly. But while you wait, let me tell you a little bit about our facility. Here at Superior, we value the security of our facility and your unit, and we take this very seriously. And so to protect them, we've implemented Noki's smart lock technology, which basically means that your phone accesses the key to our facility and your unit. We also require that you have some sort of protection for your valuables here.
So we use this 1:40 video clip that will basically is a sales pitch for us. So when we pop up, and this is kind of a time killer, we have some videos that I've showed before that when somebody walks in, before we implemented like a video technology where the video to pop up, it was just like little words on that thing, and then we would pop up there, hi, how you doing? And this lady like about panicked, and because she was not expecting us to pop up on this TV. So what we've noticed now is when we start popping up there, that's actually my daughter, and so whenever she pops up there and starts talking, it captures their attention, and then they sit there and listen to it. But it usually only takes us about 30 seconds to actually get the call, log on to the call, and then here soon we'll have all of the APIs done that's going to match the facial recognition. Yes, sir.
What's the largest storage you use this at?
Our Tyler location, 171,000 square feet.
Yeah,
So-
but that's a great question, Brian.
Yeah.
People forget to ask. Everybody thinks that these remote stores are tiny and they're urban. They're really not. Remember Jefferson, right? That was rural and suburbia that he conquered that with. And I don't know if I'd sleep at night with 171,000 feet running that way, but it's happening.
Yeah.
Right? It's really happening.
And
Can you comment real quickly on your AI mood scoring too when they walk in?
I'm sorry.
Your AI mood scoring?
Yes, so AI mood scoring is it'll help us. It gives them analytics when somebody walks in and says, "Hey, this person's in a happy mood, a bad mood." So it's no different than what we do. We read the room with our eyes. We're using AI to read the room because it's video, right? So video is powerful. We can watch that person's body language, and the AI tool in the background is actually reading that person for us and gives us a score. And so it's
Guns obviously don't trigger anything
in Texas. No, not really. And if they fire, we actually have cannons that come out of that, but that's a different story. All of this is recorded offline for customer admin level, so you can watch the actual video transaction as owner operator, whoever's your customer admin. If you want to go back in and retrain people, be like, hey, we shouldn't say that. Or you can listen to the video call, or a customer says, no, they told me this. You can go back and actually see, did that agent actually tell that customer that or not? It's a lot of fun. We love it, and it's thanks to Lance and the team, because without their team, it is next to impossible to do what we do without leveraging the open APIs that they have allowed all of us to hook into, and so now we can run our facilities and hopefully your facilities on this platform. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
How long did it take you?
To develop this? So prototype 1 was we started probably about a year ago. This one right here took us after we kind of fired the guy that sucked. Sorry. See, I told you I'm not PC. And so we hired another firm that was much better, but he was a lot more expensive. And it took us about less than 3 months to rewrite everything.
Do you have any third-party clients at this point?
Third-party clients. So RCM is wholly owned by itself. So I guess I'm my own third-party client.
What are you charging yourself for the service?
Currently, right now, so it depends on the number of sites, that it's going to happen, and so it's fluid right now. So, and I don't remember. I know we're getting ready to send out. We're getting ready to send 3 to another group, and they're going to test them in their site because I know it works for ours, and so we're going to test it in theirs. We're sending some out to Lance and his team here to run through it. But yeah.
So I saw a big screen. Is that the one that the managers on? It's not on a computer screen.
So that big kiosk, or the one that said store local at the bottom, is actually what's sitting inside of the storage facility. So when a person walks in, that's actually what the tenant will actually see. That's how they're communicating back with us. So it's a kiosk that sits there. It's not like a touch screen or a computer kiosk where you're going to go and rent somebody a unit on. We utilize the TIs from tenant in order to like actually rent and do all those things. Yes, sir.
So Adam, the remote management platform is super impressive.
Uh-huh.
It goes to show the power of the API and access to all of the data and the context that you have to really make timely decisions. Very, very cool.
Thank you.
So just a quick question. So when you really have tenants coming in and promoting their access code, can you also remotely authenticate them and let them in?
So what we do is we can open doors for tenants. So like we have people, I don't know how many people operate Noki, but it's funny to me how many people will leave their phone on a box inside the unit, shut it, and slide it lock. It's actually kind of humorous. They don't think it's humorous at the time. So what they do is they'll walk in, and so we just talk to them and be like, we'll identify a few things within their profile. Once we get facial recognition 100% in, we won't need to do it anymore, right? And so because it'll automatically recognize who they are. So we just go through a few key, hey, what's the email address we have on file and gibberish like that. Then we let them walk to their unit and then remote unlock it through to the Noki portal the same way I unlock the door.